just thinking about Ted Cruz. He's obviously a very bright man. He could be the kind of ultimate politician here who is playing everybody. Okay, he's playing the people that he's supposedly not for because he's already kind of okay. Why I'm saying this. He's playing the people who are giving him money. Wall Street, like, of course, this is a gold mine. We have to keep this going. And then he's playing the religious right that I'm the only one. Are you going to vote for Donald? The Donald? Are you kidding me? His kid switched to Judaism.
What's Cruz's end game? If he's playing everybody, what's his end game? Just pure unadulterated lust for power and control. Nothing more. Just that simple.
Well, if he's actually playing everyone, it's that he's playing the Abraham Lincoln game. That I want to get in a position where I can actually do good.
Well, what good would he do? What would be his good?
I don't know, because you'll never know. This is the problem. You'll never know. Like, did we know Lincoln was going to abolish slavery from his platforms?
Right,
No.
but Lincoln never ran on a medieval-esque, archaic, pseudo-religious, crazy.
But see, that's part of Cruz's shtick. That's part of his shtick. He has to say that. And if you actually sat down with him and said, "Hey Ted, let's have a cocktail here and talk about this," he'd be like, "Well, I don't believe half that stuff, but it's about getting the nomination. And then it's going to be about defeating whoever the Democrat is. If it's Bernie, I'm going to say, my God, socialism in the U.S., the day that happens is the day I'll go back to Cuba," or whatever he's going to say. But we cannot let that happen. The world cannot be turned over to people who just want to redistribute wealth with no meaningful Now, he won't say that because, see, he's shrewd enough to say redistribute wealth. That doesn't work because a lot of people think you should do that. He'll say to break down the capitalist system as we know it and turn everything into socialism is hypocrisy. So he'll be very calculated about it, but he is clearly, you can tell when they ask him a question, he's already like, I'm on. And he's got, he is totally knows what he's doing. He's thinking all the time.
No, yeah.
It's not that he memorized it. See, that's different. Hillary has memorized it. Marco's memorized it. He's thinking every word he's saying before he uses it of how is this going to affect everybody here. And he's thinking on multiple levels that how's it going to affect those people that I'm getting money from? How's it going to affect those people who on the religious right who are going to get me elected? How's it going to affect my Wall Street buddies? He's thinking on all those levels. So every word is very carefully chosen. And this has been, he's been cultivating that since he was at Harvard.
Yeah, he's arguably the best politician of the bunch.
Yeah, and the real problem he has is he doesn't articulate his position on the economy, which is the most important thing. He says, "Go to my website," and then he focuses in on a single mother making $40,000 a year. Well, that's not the vast majority of the electorate, and that doesn't speak to millennials of saying, okay, I'm now hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. How do I get a job beyond being a barista at Starbucks? How do I do that? Where is my methodology?
So,
it's having another merger, and where we then cut out duplicity between the two companies so that, like Carly did, shrink the company. Is that creating more jobs? No.
So maybe Cruz's whole Tea Party shtick was just to get in there.
Yeah.
Was just to get in there. And you're saying that maybe Cruz is just so diabolical. He's playing everybody and he's only beholden to himself and the devil within. Or like you said, maybe it's the angel within.
Yeah, and to give him credit, maybe it's the angel within that I'm just doing this because if I'm an angel, nobody's going to vote for me.
He's taking the most diabolical route that he
He's
can.
probably thinking, okay, we have a semi-angel on the other side, Bernie Sanders, and he's doing okay, but he's not doing good enough. So let me take this other thing where I'll I'm turning my own knobs. I'm turning them constantly as I'm talking to him, or I'm turning them all the time.
Right.
If I get in there, I'm turning them all off. Okay, I'm just switching them off, and I'm going to say, you know what? Really, the middle class should make more money than they're making now. This is ridiculous. And what my friends at Wall Street don't realize is if we created more companies, there would be more IPOs and they'd make more money. They bought into that. Wow, we could buy into that.
So
more fees for
that's
us.
a good metaphor. So
Because,
saying,
see, if you're a big company on Wall Street,
yeah,
you're Ford Motor Company, and
right.
you want to do a big bond offering, or you're Apple.
Right.
Apple did a huge bond offering. You go to the bankers, it's not a pleasant conversation with Apple.
Right.
On Wall Street. It's like, well, we normally get 5% for this. Really? That's their deal. Here's my deal. This is the Apple deal. You get 0.5%. How does that sound? That doesn't sound good. Great. We're going across the street and use them. Is that okay with you? No. Well, so they don't realize that as these companies become bigger and more powerful, except for M&A transactions, and even those are negotiated. Same thing with Facebook. Facebook was so hot, they got 1% fee instead of 10%. So if they realize that raising money for small companies is actually better than raising money for companies that are already gigantic because we can make more money and we can do more good on a local basis, that would also decentralize power from Wall Street to, and this is what Plan 182 is about, that it decentralizes that power to grant money to people for starting new businesses and expanding to the local level.
So what you're saying is Cruz turns his own knobs, whereas Rubio is like, here's my knobs. Just tell me what direction they're going.
Yeah, exactly. And even the people who are donating to Cruz think they're turning the knobs, and he's just like, I got the toggle switch here. I just turned that off.
Right. So
sitting there thinking they're turning the knobs.
Cruz is turning his own knobs. Trump is turning his own knobs. Yeah. Sanders is turning his own knobs. Yeah. Rubio's knobs are being turned. Bush's knobs are being turned.
And that's an excellent point that you made, because Ben Carson is not turning his own knobs.
Right.
He doesn't really have the chops to turn his own knobs.
And then you get somebody like Clinton, who lets nothing but the pathway to power control her. Lets the situation turn her knobs. You know, like I'll turn my knob whatever way is necessary to get my portrait in the Oval Office. That's how my knob turns.
She's exactly the same as Cruz in one sense. She's turning her own knobs, being coached by Bill. But the difference is, we know what she's going to do when she gets in. We know. She's going to leave everything the same.
Right.
That's the whole idea. Okay, I'll keep making platitudes, people, you know.
Right, so like with somebody like Cruz, you can't really be sure what he's going to do. Like Clinton, you know how her knobs are turned, and it's all a Lady Macbeth-esque thirst for power. Yeah. is turning the knobs, and Cruz is turning his own knobs, which is also a Lady Macbeth-esque thirst for power, but we don't know what is going to happen. And
you don't know what kind of real president he would be.
And then you get somebody like Trump, and what's projected by Trump is, I'm turning my knobs to make America great. I'm not turning my knobs, I'm turning your knobs, because I don't have to turn any knobs. I'm already worth $10 billion. Why do I have to turn knobs? I'm turning my knobs to make America great, you know? And Sanders has been turning the same knobs for 30 years, so you know what his knobs are, and these are my knobs, you know?
And that's part of his problem, is he can't adapt as well as the others.
Because he's been so focused on where his knobs are at that it's
instead
hard
of saying, when he gave Hillary the pass on the emails, he should have said, I have confidence in the American judicial system that we will do the right thing, and you know, whatever the truth is will come out. And it's not going to come out in this debate, so there's no sense in talking about it. But the truth will come out is different than saying, I don't want to talk about it. Because that's like saying, I took an oath. You know, when she was sworn in, she took an oath. It wasn't like she signed an NDA.
Right. So like Bernie's knobs are sort of, he's got to loosen his knobs up. Whereas Clinton knobs, they'll go any direction they
Yeah.
want. They're
Well,
like lubed and
Bernie's are from 1 to 3.
right. There's no WD-40 in Bernie's knobs, but it's dripping out of Clinton's knobs. You know,
Yeah.
they'll just
They spin 360.
yeah, they'll
They
just
stop.
turn wherever is necessary.
There's no stop. They just keep spinning.
Yeah, there's no stop on them. And I guess what's up with exclamation points knobs? He's not really turning his own knobs either.
He's not turning his own knobs, and that's why it comes off as so unnatural.
There's his keepers put their hand on his hand and let me help you turn your knob for you, Jeb. See, this is where your knob is going. Can you see that?
Yeah. I would say with the most rehearsed candidate next to Hillary. See, again, Cruz is not that as rehearsed because he's turning them.
He's turning his own knobs.
Yeah. Rubio would be then next. He's probably. Ben Carson is getting his knobs turned, but I think he's a very nice man, but he's.
Yeah, I think he's getting Ulysses S. Granted now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean Ulysses S. President Grant is what
Yeah,
I
not
mean.
General Grant.
Not General Grant, President. Because, you know, when he was neurosurgeon, Dr. Ben Carson, he was General Grant, but politician, he's President Grant. So he's
the perfect analogy.
yeah. So he basically all the schemers and knob turners are coming in, going, no, this is the best. You know, this is how you turn your knob.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, there it is. Is Ted Cruz the angel Ted Cruz, or is it the same Ted Cruz? We don't know.
But he is the most calculating.
Clearly the most calculating. In his own natural way,
Mm-hmm.
he's more calculating than Hillary, in his own natural way.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hillary has a simple view, which is power, money, get the presidency, that's it. I think Cruz operates in a calculated fashion on many more levels than that.
Right.
He has to. He's in a much more complex situation.
Right. Well, and Hillary's been on her long con for 30 years. So she's just been focused on, let me get that portrait up. Let's get that portrait up in the White House.
Party. Let's get the portrait up and party.
Let's get the portrait up, and then we're done. We're done with this thing.
Dial up Ellen.
Right.
I can dial up Bon Jovi right now.
Right. It'll just be game on and
Katy Perry, bitch. Katy Perry.
Yeah. Katy Perry's there. Kim Kardashian's there.
Kim Kardashian.
Good.
I got it right on my BlackBerry.
Yeah. The whole
My
CNN.
personal server. When I'm in the White House, I'll have my own personal server.
Everyone from CNN is there, and it's just Bernie ain't getting in. Remember when I didn't get out of here, old man? We're through with you.
Who let him in?
Who let
Fired.
him in? Get him out of here.
Fired. Get him out of here, and then you're fired.
Everyone from Lehman Brothers is there. All the top Lehman Brothers cats are there. They're popping champagne.
Well, they don't exist anymore. They had to be disintegrated. But all of her old pals who are now working at, Pickett, are they working at Merrill
Yeah,
Lynch?
well, I mean, all her old bros from there. I mean, they're all over the place now,
Yeah.
And they're just popping champagne, and Aristophanes is there, just going, you see.
I told
you. You see how easy it is when there's no conscience. It's this easy. This is how easy it is. Look at how great it is. Look, everyone's here. And we're having a great time, and we're making a lot of money, and we're doing whatever we want. And there's a picture of you. There's a picture of you here, a beautiful painting.
And what happens if the same thing happens, but then it's Cruz, and then Aristophanes says, "Okay, see, I told you." It's like, "Hey, dude, I didn't mean it, Sorry, get him out of here." Like, what?
So you think that Cruz might even be playing the devil himself?
Yeah, he's like, "I totally scammed you, you idiot." It's sort of like, the Charlie Daniels song.
Right.
"I'm the best there's ever been, you chump. Get out."
Right. Devil went down to Georgia.
Exactly.
God.
Well, there it is. We don't know which one we have with Cruz. We have to. Now, it would be nice if he actually articulated some real thoughts.
Well, articulating real thoughts is not part of the game. That's not part of the political game.